Hey everybody, Kylie here. We're going to go over my review and opinion on Infliction. Now, I just finished this game up a little bit ago, and I'm going to go ahead and give you my review on it. And it would really help me a lot if you watched my long playthrough of that, and I'm going to go ahead and link that video in the description below. So for the review of Infliction, I'm going to be going over a few main things. So I'm going to go over the gameplay, story cohesiveness, horror intensity, and the puzzle and challenge rating for Infliction itself. So first off, for the gameplay of Infliction, I'm going to go over and I'm going to say it has just some minor improvements. Like, for the most part, the gameplay itself was actually quite smooth, but there were a couple moments that some of the things could have been improved. For example, there was one of the puzzles in the game itself, and they didn't list the instructions for part of it, where you needed to press A to move one of the dials a certain way, and that wasn't listed at the bottom. And it only had listed one way, so I had to go through and figure that out myself, that I had to move the dial that way. So if they put that in there, that would make it a lot easier, because I was stuck on that puzzle because of that. And so there's just a couple of minor improvements on that, but for the most part, the gameplay of it was really smooth. It was easy to click on the interactable items. It was easy to go through doors and click them open, and that made it really nice and really easy to play. So for the story and cohesiveness, I did have some questions about it. Like, there was parts of the story that it would be really good about making sense, and I'd be taken to another section, and it would be either some audio, or it would be a note itself that would help to describe to me kind of what was going on, where I was taken to, why I was there. And for the most part, it did do really well with that. But I did have some questions where I was taken to different sections that seemed completely unrelated to the story, and so that left me a bit confused, and I was kind of wondering why I was there, what that had, what pertinent information that really had to the actual game itself and the storyline itself, and that made me I was a little bit confused there. But for it was the main part of the story was making sense, and then I was taken to another part that didn't really make sense, and I didn't really know why I was there, and then I was brought back and into the other story, but that part was kind of left out, so that left me wondering a bit. For the horror intensity, oh my god, this was panic-inducing. My goodness, it was absolutely freaking terrifying. I was scared out of my mind. I was literally shaking, which you can watch that in the playthrough. I was literally shaking for the grand majority of it, where I would go like this, and I would see myself literally shaking like that. It was absolutely terrifying. And my throat kept getting dry, and so I had to keep drinking water throughout the entire time I was playing it, because my throat would get dry because I'd be so terrified, and I was going through different puzzles or different things, and what didn't help is I kept getting stuck on the puzzles, which I'll go through and give that rating in a second, but I kept getting stuck on some of the puzzles, which made it even scarier, and then it took longer for me to get through, which made it even more terrifying than it would be if I didn't have that. So it was definitely one that was absolutely panic-inducing, and you would definitely want to play this with some friends or some other people around, so that way you're not scared out of your mind. For the puzzle and challenge portion, I'm going to go through and rate this at I was stuck. I was stuck during multiple different parts of it, where I either had to get some help from the chat, or I had to go back and forth multiple times to go through and figure out how to move on to the next section, or how to get the thing that I was looking for. It did leave me I was stuck with it for pretty decent periods of time, actually. So for a puzzle, it was I was just pretty stuck. So there may be some instances that you might get stuck when you're going through and doing this, when that's where having some friends around or something might be able to help you kind of get through that as well. Because there was definitely some instances that I was struggling a bit for that. Overall rating, puzzle and challenges I just did. So my overall rating of Infliction itself was positive. It was a very positive review. It was pretty positive. So I went and just those minor improvements, just a couple of those things added or changed in there. With the story cohesiveness, if it was just a little bit more cohesive, or maybe if those certain parts were explained a little bit better, of when I went teleported to a different section or whatever. And horror intensity was definitely terrifying. That didn't need any adjustment at all. And for some of those puzzles, it was a little bit hard for me, and I did get stuck during certain parts, so perhaps if that was just a little bit less. So then I wasn't just kind of like rummaging around and like hoping for the best during that. Overall though, just with some minor adjustments and stuff, it would easily go up to a very positive review, but overall this game was absolutely positive and I really enjoyed it. Afterwards I felt like gigantic sense of accomplishment after finishing it, because it was absolutely so terrifying to go through it itself. And that really made it, the sense of finishing it, that made it a lot more enjoyable later. But for my own personal sense of accomplishment. But as I was going through it, I was literally terrified out of my mind. It was absolutely terrifying. So my overall review on Infliction is positive. Thank you so much for watching this. I really appreciate you going and watching my video and my opinion on Infliction game. Please make sure to like and subscribe and follow for more content like this one. Alrighty, I will see you later. Bye guys.